Hey everybody, so right now I'm inside of Blender. I'm in a totally empty scene and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring one of my characters onto Mixamo. I'm going to add some animations onto them, and then I'm going to bring some other animations from Mixamo into Blender and combine them inside of one of the animation editors. So right here in my folder, you'll see that I have, this is some downloads that I was just preparing before this, but if I go to my desktop, I go to my Blender file, I go to the file that corresponds with the character that I just created last time, you'll see I have a bunch of different variant names for all of the different kind of offshoot Blender files, but I also have one that's an FBX. And once you have an FBX file of your character that is not rigged, let's go ahead and add it into Mixamo. In this case, I've already added mine. What you can do is you can go upload character, you can select the character file, you can go over to person or whatever yours is named, .fbx. You can open it. It'll take you through this process slowly where you're going to have to orient your character forward. Great. You're going to have to go ahead and add a marker to all these places, particularly wrists and elbows and knees and groin. These all seem like they're in the right place. Yeah. So I'm actually also going to make this have no fingers because I don't really need fingers on my model. And I realized when I brought this in here, I made the hands very, very tiny, which you'll see is kind of comically reflected in a little bit. I'm going to go next. It's going to do some analysis where it rigs this character automatically for us. And then we'll be able to select from the bevy of Mixamo options in terms of animations. Now, what we're going to be doing once we actually get this inside is first we're going to be re-exporting it with the skin, but then we're going to be exporting a variety of animations without the skin. And then we're going to be combining those in a pretty intuitive way in Blender. Great, this all looks good. Great, this all looks good. Wonderful. Okay, so I want to get a walking animation, so I'm going to look right here. I'm just going to see if they have like a standard walking animation. Yep, they do. For my case, and I imagine this is your case too, I would say in place. Remember what we did in class is we took this model, we parented it to an empty, and we had this loop moving so that we could move the empty in any direction, and it just made it a little bit more sustainable for us to animate this. So now that this is going on, I'm going to go ahead to download. In this case, in this first case, I do want to download with the skin. I'll say download. Great, and let's also find some other animations that we potentially want to bring in. Maybe after this we go into like a dance. I'll just say the chicken dance because my character's got tiny little hands, and I'm going to download this as well, and this time I'm going to download without the skin so that we're really just downloading the armature. I'm going to download. Great. So let's go back into Blender right now. First, I'm going to go File, I'm going to go Import, I'm going to bring the FBX of our person walking. This should be walking 2. And let's press play, see if it's working. It is. If I go down to my animation, you'll see that there's only a certain amount of keyframes to go to a certain point. So let's go and navigate into a new part of the animator. I'm going to go click on this little tab right here, and I'm going to go to the non-linear animation window, and you'll see not a whole lot has changed. We do have this animation that was brought in with this armature, but we still only have it in a limited kind of run. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to name this walking. And essentially what we're doing here is we are creating reusable slices of animations. So walking, yay, great. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to press this down button, and this pushes down the action. Essentially, it takes all of these keyframes and it adds them as a kind of like loop that we can continuously refer back to. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to press that down, and look, walking. I can now add another walking if I want by going add action walking. Wow, look at this. Perfect. This is exactly what we want. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead right now. I'm going to go Shift A. I'm going to create a cube. I'm going to put this right here. And in terms of my armature, and then my cube, or sorry, armature, then I'm shift clicking the empty, and I'm going to parent it to the object so that I can move that as we're going. Great. I'm going to add one more walking, add action, walking. Great. Seems pretty seamless. Let's go ahead and add in another animation. So I'm going to go File, Import, and now I'm going to bring in that armature that does not have a skin on it. I'm going to say FBX, and I'm going to go to Chicken Dance, and I'm going to say Import. And as soon as I've imported this, you'll see a few things. One, I have this armature over here. And two, I have this on the nonlinear animation timeline. I have this right here. So let's go through this process just one more time. I'm going to click on this long series of keyframes right here. Ugh. And I'm going to say dance. Great. Now I have a good label for that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push this down. Great. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this armature because I don't really need it anymore. And then up here, I'm going to move this over a little bit. I'm going to say add action. Oh, need to make sure that this is selected. Add action dance. Okay, great. And let me play this right here. Okay, walking, walking. Oh no, and then there's no transition between those two things. Well, one of the things that I can do is that I can say, hey, I want to shift click on this, and I want to shift click on this, and I can go add transition, and it interpolates between all those keyframes. A little sloppy, right? It's like a little weird, so I might want to go in and like change that up a little bit, but pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead. Maybe I want to make this a little bit less. Make it kind of more abrupt. You'll have to figure out the exact thing. Whoa! Okay, that's very abrupt. That's kind of fun. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and move my empty. I'll probably go down to this timeline editor over here. And I'll select my empty. And I can go K. I want to take the location, rotation, and scale. And I want to go until we about stop walking, which is there. And I want to move this somewhere. So let's go ahead. Let's see if this is fast. Let's see if this is slow. You're going to have to play around with it. And remember, this is linear interpolation. So if I go in here and I right click, and I go to interpolation mode, I should say linear. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. Oh, don't want that. I think I actually want this to go a little bit farther because this is not working. It seems like it's kind of like slow, like the walking is a little slow. That feels a little bit better. Let me go ahead and take these off to... Yeah, it still feels like the walking is kind of dragging. So I'm going to go over here. Anyway, you'll have to play around with it on your own. But this is the way that you can combine these animations inside of Blender and by using a variety of different Mixamo animations. So have some fun. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.